Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Mike Pazorski. Today we're going to be talking about the ego and what the ego actually is, how to then decipher between ego and spirit, and understanding where deep peace truly arises. Now, on my journey in spirituality over the last 12 years, I have done a lot of digging, a lot of soul searching, a lot of looking to truth, a lot of trying to discover what the truth is. And if there is a truth, if there is such a thing. Now, for me personally, I always knew God was real. I always had just a knowing of that. I trusted that. I knew that. I had divine encounters. I've had strong intuitions of it. I've had experiences that have shown me that the world that we live in is not the only thing that is ultimately real. There is a spiritual world. There is something after this physical world. And even in a decade of mediumship, working as a medium, it validated that even more to me. I knew that when I was doing that work, that there absolutely is, and there's no shadow of a doubt, in my mind anyways, that we go on, that our soul leaves this physical body, leaves this physical world, and enters into another dimension. I've since came away from doing readings to explore spiritual teaching, because I understand that although the spirit world exists and we can connect to them, there's something deeper even than that, even than working as a medium. And definitely not saying it's wrong to, or that people shouldn't, or whatever. But I am saying that there's actually enlightenment and awakening for everyone. And everyone, I believe, is meant to turn in that direction, is meant to go that way. I believe that that's where the universe is unfolding. That's where things are going. And in time, I'm sure there will be a point in time where mediums won't necessarily be, there won't be a need for that anymore, because everyone will be spiritually awakened. We will come into our oneness with God. We'll realize our own divinity, and we'll realize that truth that exists beyond this world and that is actually intertwined with this world. I believe that that's the direction we're heading, and I feel called to share that message. I feel called to help people awaken spiritually, to let go of the ego, because the only thing that's standing in the way of your spiritual enlightenment, your realization and oneness with God, to realize that you were never separate from God or separated from God, but your ego is actually covering all of that up. That's ultimately where we're going. That's what God wants. That's what the universe wants to unfold in this world. So we need more people to teach that we're not egos, that we are not these personalities. We are not these thoughts or fears, or we are not these beliefs and identities that we hold on to in this world. None of those things are ultimately the truth. And the more people that can accept this calling to share this, to help people come out of the ego and into the spirit, the faster this spiritual awakening on this planet will happen. And the root suffering in this world, the cause of suffering in this world, is ultimately from the ego. It's ultimately from people, obviously. People that are not very wise or very enlightened or don't understand who they are beyond this physical form. It's those people that are causing disruption and chaos on the planet. And the very few people that are enlightened, if you will, are really the ones that are holding the space for what the universe wants to express in this world. And the more people that can come onto that path, the more people that can accept that call, because it's everyone's call to some degree, the better the world will be. And that's what I want to talk about in this video is, okay, then what is the ego? How do we dismantle the ego? how do we go about doing this so that we can allow our full expression of who we are, so that we can allow the divine to express through us, so that we can live in union with one another. Because that's ultimately what you want. All the chasing that you do in your life, all the things that you want or desire, all the things that the world has told you to want or desire, anything external, anything in this physical world it's sort of a distraction. It's a distraction away from the ultimate thing that you want. And the ultimate thing that you want is God. Is you want union with God. You want union with your brothers and sisters. You want peace. You want that. And this world has that, but it also has the opposite, which is the ego. The ego is this kind of false identity of the person in which people buy into. They buy into their thoughts, they buy into their mind, they buy into their physical body, thinking that's them. They buy into their likes and dislikes. They buy into their beliefs, what they believe, what they hold to be true, such as perhaps particular religions. It could be from who they think that they are, as what function they play in the world. A mom, a dad, a teacher, a police officer, a whatever, even a spiritual teacher like me. I can really buy into that identity, and what ends up happening is that the more you believe your function to be you, the more you believe for you to believe that you're actually this person, the more you're into the ego and the less you're away from the spirit. So it's about relinquishing and releasing all the things of this world, all the bondages, all the attachments, so that you can come into who you are. Now, it's not so much about like, you see in some, I think Buddhist type religions, to become a monk, they really give up everything to seek enlightenment. And I'm not sure if that's necessary for everyone. You will be guided in a unique way by the divine on your path to awaken. It's going to be different from mine. Everyone's is different, but we all eventually come to the same thing, which is union and oneness. And how you get there will be different from me. So you really have to trust how you're being guided. You have to trust where God is leading you today. And then you have to act on it. You have to kind of make an effort. You have to show up. You have to try. And along the way, you will figure it out. So the ego, again, consists of all of those things. And if you haven't already noticed, none of them ultimately fulfill you and bring you ultimate happiness. Because if they did, then everyone would be happy, everyone would be fulfilled, because it would be so simple just to look at that, you as a person, and then all the things you do and your beliefs that you hold to be true and all of these things. Clearly that doesn't do it. A lot of people are suffering in the world. A lot of people are depressed, anxious, unfulfilled, no direction or whatever. Now, I'm not saying here that I believe that everyone should be teaching what I'm saying to do. I think you have to pay attention to what God's calling you to do. But our inner purpose is all the same. You might have a different outer purpose, as Eckhart Tolle refers to, inner and outer purposes. Our inner purpose is all the same, which is our awakening, our spiritual awakening. Our outer purpose may be different. You might actually be a teacher or a lawyer or a police officer, or you might be a stay-at-home mom. You might be an accountant, whatever it is. You have a function to do in the world that suits you perfectly, but we all must come to the inner purpose of spiritual awakening, which is disidentification from the ego. And you can actually, I believe, perform better and create better things in the world by not being attached to them. You hear a lot about that in sports, in different areas of life, where having a detached relationship in something allows it to expand more, to grow more, to be more effective. So that's really important, so that if we can just detach from that role, that function that we identify so strongly as, and come into oneness within ourselves, our connection with God, which is ultimately the most important thing, then everything else, will kind of fall into place, I believe. So we need to start working as a society, as people, to let go of our strong-held beliefs, to let go of who we think we are as a person, to release our mind, our thoughts, our physical body, to release all these things that we think that we are, because we're so much more than those things. And that's where the cause of suffering is coming from, is this identification with a false identity. Of course you'd be unhappy if you related solely to a false identity, because it's not really who you are. So I believe that if this world is going to be happy, if we're going to find joy in this world and deep spiritual fulfillment, that we need to understand that the only thing that's coming in the way of that is the ego, and we need to be able to release and let go of the ego and come into peace. So, again, beliefs, your personality, your likes, your dislikes, your mind, your thoughts, your body, the role you identify with in your life, whether you're a husband or whatever your profession is, if you're a dad, whatever. Not saying to not do those things anymore, but start to loosen the identity. Start to loosen the grip around being totally engulfed into this persona. Because that's what's going to lead to depression. Because it can't ultimately fulfill you. Nothing in this world can ultimately fulfill you, which of course is going to lead to depression. You'll never make enough money, you'll never achieve enough status or prestige, you will never get far enough in your career that's going to finally make you happy. Your relationships with people are never fully going to make you happy. There's always going to be something that you don't like, or you wish it was this way, or you wish that argument never would have happened, or the breakup didn't happen, or whatever. People aren't going to be able to do it. Situations are not going to be able to do it. Your career is not going to be able to do it. Nothing in this world is ultimately going to be able to do it. It always leads to the same thing. It's why the millionaire wants to become the billionaire. It's why all of those sort of things are going to lead you to depression, because it's not true. It's not true of who you are. It's an illusion. It's a false identity. And to buy into this personal sense of self, the mind-made sense of self, will also ultimately fail you, because it's not you. So to awaken spiritually is to let go of all the labels, everything. And the more that you can do this, the more that you can practice this, the more that you can release those false identities. Again, not saying to not do them. You may need to. Your calling might be to pursue something that, in the world that isn't not being an ego, for sure. Most of us, 99% of us, are on that track. But we need to adopt this inner purpose again, like what I've alluded to earlier. We need to come to being, to presence, to stillness, to that place within us that is beyond all of the things in this world. And again, from that detached place, we can then enjoy things without needing them to fulfill us. And we can enjoy money or success, or we can enjoy physical things that may bring you pleasure or that you enjoy doing, but from a place of understanding that it's not ultimately going to fulfill you. So that's the key switch there. So I invite you today to take a deep look into your life, to see the things that are not ultimately you, which is basically everything in this world, and to start to release them, to let them go. To understand that you don't need these things to ultimately be happy. And again, I mean this in a sense of letting go of letting go, not to not do them anymore, but letting go of the need for them to make you happy. They don't need to make you happy, and they ultimately won't make you happy. Maybe in the moment, temporarily it could, but in the long term of things, your ultimate fulfillment and satisfaction is only really going to come from understanding your oneness with God, because nothing's greater than that. And to achieve this, to experience this, we have to work on letting go of the ego, letting go of ego identification, letting go of identification with the world, and letting go of illusions, letting go of the falseness of the world. So there's a deeper truth within you, deeper than anything this world could show you. And that is what I feel we are all called to experience. No matter what path you're on, no matter what religion you believe in, no matter what function in the world you identify with, none of these things ultimately matter. So I invite you today to just take a deeper look into your life, to see where the ego is coming up in your life, and to begin to see it from a greater and higher perspective. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.